feels incredible to be here on our own boat.
When we set off from England, one of our bucket list items was to sail under Sydney Harbour Bridge on our own boat. At that time, Sydney was literally years away, and we were not even sure if we would make it through the Panama Canal and into the South Pacific. Now, 2.5 years after leaving England, we are actually sailing into Sydney Harbour on our own boat, proof that dreams, even big ones, can be made to come true.
There are so many boats here. There are yachts, ferries, super yachts, power boats, all in a massive rush to get somewhere. Even though we came from the busy Solent in England, the number of boats here has come as a bit of a shock.
We had hit Sydney at the height of summer, its busiest period. This means the anchorages were a little tight. At times when everybody swings here, there's only a metre clearance between boats, and to get the anchor up we might have to ask another boat to motor over to the side a little. But that's the way it's done here, and there's no animosity about it. It was a bit stressful at first for us, but we got used to it now.
We arrived just in time for Christmas and shared an Aussie barbecue with our mates on Osprey, who we first met way back in Tonga.
As sailors, it would be unheard of to be in Sydney for Boxing Day and not watch the start of the Sydney Hobart race. This annual race, 630 miles from Sydney to Hobart in Tasmania, is the famous Southern Hemisphere equivalent of the British Fastnet race. I was very interested to see the start, as I competed in the Fastnet race back in 2007. There are 85 yachts entered in the race this year, with more than 1,000 sailors crewing them. The biggest yachts are 100 feet long, nearly 3 times the length of Florence, and they are capable of reaching speeds of over 30 knots, which is more than 4 times faster than we can go in Florence.
We preferred to take in the spectacle from the North Head rather than join the mayhem on the water with Florence. It's a great vantage point to watch from, and we could see how the wind shifts affected the boats as they beat out of the heads. The spectator fleet really churned the water up, and we were happy with our decision to watch from here. It would have been very uncomfortable for us if we'd have taken Florence out. Maybe one day we'll come back and have a crack at the race. Sydney has these awesome destination berths which allow you to come alongside a marina berth for free for up to about half an hour to take on water or do whatever else you need to do. It's brilliant for us.
Well, we were pretty empty, and that's another half ton of water on board, so we're good for another month. Although the outer city anchorages have great views of the city, the wash from all the powerboats and ferries can make them very uncomfortable. So we ventured further into the city and passed some very iconic landmarks.
Sydney Harbour is one of those iconic places to sail. It feels incredible to be here.
Wouldn't you like to go on one of them, Amy?
Yeah, I love it. I miss skiff sailing. feels incredible to be here on our own boat.
When we set off from England, we thought about all the famous, amazing places we might be able to go. This was one of them, the opportunity to actually sail our own boat underneath the Sydney Harbour Bridge. It's really exciting to be actually about to do so. Sydney Harbour Bridge, tick!
Yeah! Should we do it again?
We're gonna have to on the way back. But there's one thing that's more awesome than sailing under the Sydney Harbour Bridge in Sydney Harbour. And that's gonna be being under the Sydney Harbour Bridge for New Year's Eve fireworks. That's the next one. It's brilliant to be able to sail into the middle of a city like this. Outbound vessels that right of way.
There's a free anchorage for yachts near the Sydney Fish Market. It's really close to the city centre and away from all the ferry wash in the outer harbour, so it should be much more comfortable.
We feel really lucky to be able to bring our home into the heart of Sydney, so it's time to see the city.
All the cycle paths around the city made it really easy to get around on our folding bikes.
After 7 months in the islands, the hustle and bustle of big city life takes some getting used to.
We couldn't get enough of the Opera House. It's such an iconic building. 46 years old, but it still looks timeless. Struggling with the busy city life, we went to the Maritime Museum to look at some boats. It's quite funny to find a boat the exact same size and age as Florence in a museum. This one was sailed around the world non-stop by Kay Coutier in the 80s, and she was the first female solo sailor to sail around the world non-stop.
Given the similarities with Florence in size and age, we were keen to take a closer look. She's taken all the headlining down so that she can see if she gets any damage. So it looks a lot more basic than Florence in here, but it's very functional. And I wish we had a workshop like this. It would be much easier to fix everything on board.
The galley is very similar, and she's a mechanical wind vane self-steering device on the stern, just like us, which is much more reliable than an electric autopilot. We could really do with a staysail. It seems a bit wasteful for it to be sat here in the museum.
That would fit Florence perfectly. Thinking of finding some cheap fish and chips for lunch, we headed to the Sydney Fish Market and got a shock.
Sydney Fish Market, it's free to look, but if you're on a budget, definitely eat before you come here.
Proper cheese! Ridiculous prices!
We spent some time exploring the many free galleries, gardens and even opera before feeling a need to take a break from the city.
There's a fantastic travel deal here every Sunday when you can go anywhere on public transport for just $2.70. That's only about £1.50 or just under $2 US. So we decided to take the train 3 hours out to the Blue Mountains with Mark and Mario from Osprey for a bit of nature.
This is a very popular tourist spot. Being up in the mountains, it's much cooler than down in the city. And with the train link, it's very easy to get to.
The Blue Mountains are named after the blue haze which can be seen over them. We thought it was more visible at the end of the day.
This is the Three Sisters viewpoint, the most famous view in the area. We actually preferred the waterfalls. They're much quieter, particularly the spectacular Wentworth Falls.
It's time to grab a spot for the New Year's fireworks. We met up with our friends on Jadine and Osprey again. Jadine is a big lagoon catamaran and they kindly invited us and Osprey to raft up on either side of them so we could all enjoy the fireworks together. This is supposed to be the best spot to view them from. Jadine got here early to bag the position a few days ago. It's now really busy.
You've seen the amount of boats in here, it's crazy. The whole harbour's like this.
So this is New Year's in Sydney Harbour. You can see the Sydney Bridge just about in the background there, and it's just crazy. There's so many boats. We're tied up alongside some friends on a big cat, and they're constantly manoeuvring, even though we're at anchor, just to dodge everybody. Ground, there's a big storm possibly going to come through. There's already boats dragging. We've got the police boat just over there. They're trying to keep some sort of order. They just told a boat that was right dragging onto us to get out of there because there was no space and they just tried to anchor in front of us. We were told it's going to be crazy to be in here for New Year's right by the bridge and right by the Opera House. It's the place to be, but man, it's busy and stressful. And I'm really glad we've got Barry, our mate on Jadine, who's just keeping the boat manoeuvring and keeping us out of trouble, and then everybody else is running around being ready to fend off just in case. Hopefully it'll all be worth it for the fireworks, assuming that the lightning doesn't get to us first. Yeah, you can.
A huge thunderstorm came through in the evening, bringing torrential rain and meaning they had to cancel one of the aerial displays. We were busy fending off other boats as the thunderstorm spun every boat around. There were even a few collisions. Thankfully we stayed clear though. It's finally stopped raining and we're just waiting for the fireworks to start. Everything's calmed down and all the boats have stopped moving, but I never thought I'd be wearing my offshore jacket in summer in Sydney.
The display went on for 12 minutes, a great way to start the New Year in style. A massive 8.5 tonnes of fireworks were set off in that time.
If you've watched that video just after we released it, you'll realise how far behind we actually are.
So we decided we'd skip a bit. Next time we'll magically appear 1,000 miles further up the coast of Australia and start to explore the Great Barrier Reef.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, give us a like and subscribe to catch the next one.
Next time, we sail out to Lady Musgrave Island, at the southern end of the Great Barrier Reef. Thank you to all of our patrons for your support, especially our star patrons Bill McNamara and Kate and Peter Atkins.